Your level of motivation really determines your ability to reach your financial dreams and goals. If you aren't motivated, you're going to be tempted to give up when things get challenging. In this video, I want to share with you 3 steps to stay motivated and aligned at your core, body, mind, and spirit, to achieve your financial goals. You're going to learn how you can leverage the concepts in both psychology and neuroscience to really help you understand how your mind and brain can better support you to achieve your financial dreams and goals. My name is Yvonne, and the goal in this channel is personal growth. So if you want to improve the quality of your life, click the subscribe button to level up. So if you're not motivated to make the necessary changes in your life that your financial goals demand, you're just going to be going through the motions. And it won't take much to really veer you off track. So then, why is it that when you make goals, maybe you start out really fueled up with motivation and you make great progress in the beginning, but then the fuel seems to just run out and it becomes so difficult to stick to what you set out to do? There seems to be almost like a tug of war going on internally. No matter how motivated you are, your willpower will be competing with that visceral grip of the familiar, comfortable, old way of doing things. Unless you're totally aligned in body, mind, and spirit, that old neural pathway is just going to have a grip on you and really keep you trapped in your comfort zone. The body, mind, and spirit are the parts of us that make up our whole being. And when they're aligned and are working together, that can really help us make most resourceful choices for ourselves in the present, and it's really going to impact our future for the better. So to stay motivated, you've got to be fully aligned at your core and really committed even when resistance arises, because when you're fully committed, then failure is just not an option. You've got to be 100% committed to your financial goals, and we'll talk more about that. So the first thing you need to do to stay motivated to achieve your financial goals is to set clear, intentional goals. Motivation starts with a clear intention. You want to start, I'm going to start this section, actually let's step back with a quote. It's a quote by the Stoic philosopher Seneca. He says, "It's not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It's because we do not dare that things are difficult." This is a very profound perspective, and it really drives home the point that we shouldn't shrink back when it comes to using our imagination to set fun, exciting, and juicy goals for ourselves. The goals that scare us, those are the ones that force us to give up a part of our identity in favor of becoming more authentically ourselves at a soul and spirit level. So let's be clear with what an intention is. An intention is an idea that you plan to carry out. So your intention is the goal, a purpose, what you're aiming towards. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what's your intention? In other words, what do you want? What do you really want? Ask yourselves, what do I really love to do at a soul and spirit level? What really makes my heart sing? You may have the intention, for instance, I'm just throwing some things out there, of paying off and getting out of debt. Or maybe saving more money for a specific purpose. Maybe saving towards that dream vacation, or going to college, or that special event like a wedding or special anniversary. Or maybe you want to buy that new car finally, or new home, or saving towards a nice retirement. So maybe your intention is to increase your income by starting that side hustle or business finally. Or maybe you just want to increase your income through a salary increase in your current job. Another intention may be learning to invest to build real wealth for yourself, or generational wealth for your children. Maybe to invest so that you can increase your overall net worth. See, no matter what it is, at the end of the day, you want to get crystal clear with what your intention is. What helps me to get clear with what I want is to write in a journal, and literally right across the top of the notebook, you can write, "What do I want?" And you just kind of sit with that question and allow the pen to just go ahead and write and write whatever comes up. There's nothing wrong. Don't judge it. You're going to notice things in the recesses of your subconscious mind. They're going to begin to show up. I want you to pay attention to those dreams and goals that show up on that piece of paper. This happened to me. For example, while I was journal writing, I wrote that I wanted to go to Sedona, Arizona. And I was surprised because I've never been to Arizona. So I don't know anyone there, but I really wanted to take a vacation there. It wasn't a dream vacation, so to speak. It was just I wanted to get out there. So it was almost like deeper in me at a soul level. I just wanted to go. I don't know why. I still don't know why. I just know that I want to and I need to go to Sedona. So I was curious about that, and funny enough, that goal stayed with me each time I wrote in the journal. I think it was towards the end of last year, or November of last year, when I wrote that. Sure enough, as months have gone by, 6 months maybe, I was able to save enough money, and I was checking online for some seminars, and guess what? There's a Gregg Braden event, my favorite author, in Sedona in a couple months. So I'm very excited about what's in store for me at a soul level to go there. Flights booked, hotels booked, everything's set. So I'm ready and excited to go. You see, deep down, your soul knows what experiences you need to grow, evolve, and transform. The journey of the soul is one of developing consciousness. So get curious and take time to meditate, pray, and journal, and set clear, intentional, soul and spirit level goals for yourself. This leads us to the second thing you need to do to stay motivated to achieve your financial goals, and that is focus. I want to start this section with a quote by Aristotle. He says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." I'm sure you've heard this quote. It's very popular and famous. So what makes people start out very motivated but then end up losing their motivation? Well, it boils down to, I believe, to a lack of focus. Your ability to stay focused on your goal will support you because what you focus your attention on gets wired in the brain, right? So in fact, Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz, a neuropsychiatrist at UCLA School of Medicine, he reveals the outcome of his extensive research in his book called The Mind and the Brain. And he shares that something called directed mental force, called the theory of self-directed neuroplasticity, can virtually restructure your brain and reprogram your behavior. So he notes a willful mental effort generates a physical force that has the power to change the physical structure of the brain. Your mind is like the software that activates your brain's hardware. The non-physical entity that we call the mind has the power to change the brain. So your mind can change your brain because your brain is the tool of the mind. So in other words, your mind is the master and your brain is the servant. Let's say, for example, that you aren't a morning person, okay, and you never were. And you wake up past your alarm, and your mornings are always rushed, and you just have enough time to shower, brush your teeth, get dressed, grab a cup of coffee, drop off the kids in school and get right to work, right? You just kind of roll out of your bed and all of this happens, right? You're always late. There's never enough time for anything else. But deep at a soul level, that to reach your dreams and goals, you need to get up a little bit earlier in order to invest in yourself before you give time to others, whether that other is your job, school, family, kids, or other commitments. At a soul level that you need to pay yourself first. The secret to your success lies in your morning routine. To achieve your dreams and goals, you need to start getting up earlier to do these things, to pray, meditate, journal, read, maybe do a little workout before your day gets started. You feel motivated to get up early and you do it the first few days. You're all fired up because you're fueled by your motivation. But then you notice that slowly you're back to your regular routine because it's too difficult. you think it's not sustainable to wake up early, you don't feel like yourself doing these activities, doesn't feel like you. And anyway, you don't really feel like doing any of this new stuff anyway, right? See, what's happened here is there's a disconnect in your brain. Your brain's primary function, okay, is to make sure you stay safe and out of harm's way. That's its function. The part of your brain, by the way, that wants to change is different than the part of the brain that wants to stay comfortable. So there's a tug of war going on in there. Let's talk a little bit about the brain, because it's always good to understand how your brain works, to really understand what you need to do to work with it to get what you want. So there are 3 parts to the brain, 3 parts: the reptilian brain, the limbic system, and the cerebral cortex. Now, the reptilian brain is the part, it's at the core, okay, that controls our basic automatic functions like breathing, eating, heartbeat. And it has that fight, flight, or freeze response. Now, just above the reptilian brain is what's called the limbic system, and that's the seat of emotions, feelings, memory. It's the part of the brain that interprets whether something is good or bad. That's the second layer. And the third layer is the cerebral cortex. It's often called the executive function, or the rational and logical part of the brain where thought and language reside. So when you set an intention that you want to wake up early and do your morning routine and it's going to happen, well, the part that sets the goal is the cerebral cortex, the executive function, that rational and logical part of your brain. But guess what? When you feel stressed, fatigued, or threatened, there's a flood of stress hormones that triggers, guess what, your reptilian brain to gear into action, to protect you. And it makes you go into fight, flight, or freeze response. And the kicker is that these rush of chemicals released also shuts down that cerebral cortex. You know, that executive function, the rational, logical part of your brain, yeah, that gets shut down. So the brain, designed to protect you, gives all the attention to that reptilian brain, shuts down everything else, because if you're running from a hungry lion, you need all your energy, blood, and oxygen to go to your limbs to fight, run, or seek shelter. The way the fight, flight, and freeze response shows up in our modern life is you feel avoidance, procrastination, you sink back into the path of least resistance, your old habits. You helplessly sink back into repeating the same dysfunctional behavior you're trying to change. So there you are in bed, knowing you should get up, but I'll wake up tomorrow early. That's the reptilian brain doing its fight, flight, and freeze response. And the cerebral cortex is sleeping at the wheel. Okay? You see, there's a deep-rooted neural pathway blocking your ability to get your cerebral cortex into gear. So when the alarm goes on, you just easily and effortlessly get up and do the thing you have in your heart and soul to do, that you know is acting in your best interest. So if the brain is the hardware and the mind is the software, we know where we need to start. We need to update that software so that the brain boots up and fires up in the way we need to, like a firmware kind of a thing. The way you get past these old rooted behaviors is to use your mind to change the brain. So you've got to train your mind. Rick Hanson, a psychologist and the author of a great book I read, Buddha's Brain, The Practical Neuroscience of Happiness, Love, and Wisdom. He said it well. He says, what flows through the mind sculpts the brain. This leads us to the third thing you need to do to stay motivated to achieve your financial goals, and that's called commitment. I want to start this section with a quote by Jim Rohn. He once said that motivation is what gets you started, but commitment is what keeps you going. You see, commitment essentially means to be dedicated to something, dedicated to do what it takes to accomplish your dreams and goals. So how do we get ourselves to be dedicated and committed to take action and make the necessary changes in our behaviors to ensure we accomplish our goals? Well, we need to reprogram our subconscious mind. So to understand how to reprogram our subconscious mind, Let's understand the mind, shall we? Well, first of all, let's be clear here. No one has ever seen the mind. Unlike the brain that's physical, the mind is not physical. But we do have a framework in psychology to understand how it's structured. There are 3 parts to the mind: conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. The psychological term used for conscious is the id, the subconscious is the ego, and the superconscious is the superego. This probably kind of triggered some psychology 101 that you learned back in college, so my apologies. But so the conscious mind involves all the things that you're currently aware of and are thinking about, including our behavior. It's how we show up in the world and what we operate with during our daily activities and waking hours. It's what everybody sees. So according to the cognitive neuroscientists, we are conscious only of about 5% of our cognitive activity. So most of our decisions, actions, emotions, and behavior depends on the subconscious, what lies beneath. That's 95% of our brain activity. 95% of our brain activity goes beyond our conscious awareness. The subconscious mind occurs in the absence of awareness and thought. It's like when you're breathing, you're not paying attention to breathing, it just happens, right? So it lies below the level of conscious awareness and makes up around 95% of your brain power and handles everything your body needs to function properly. It's the autonomic nervous system and controls the automatic body functions like breathing, heartbeat, digestion, and memories. Emotions too are stored in the body subconsciously as well. So the vast majority of what goes on in our minds goes on subconsciously, below consciousness. So conscious awareness. So our subconscious mind is part of the mind that reacts and responds to what we're programmed with. In other words, our conditioning. Your subconscious mind is conditioned and programmed from childhood, from birth to about age 7, or actually before that, before birth, conception to age 7. Your brain waves are in a theta brainwave state, in a highly programmable state of hypnosis. And most of your subconscious beliefs were programmed then. So also, when you watch television, you're induced into a state of hypnosis. So all the television programming is easily getting programmed into your subconscious belief system. Another way to program the subconscious mind is repetition. The third part of the mind is known as your superconscious mind, okay? And it's also known as the higher self. And we experience the superconscious mind, for instance, as we go deeper in prayer or meditation. We experiencing this deepening sense of peace, calm, divine love, and even bliss. So, the superconscious mind is where creativity is found. So when you hear people that create great works like art, music, poetry, and great scientific discoveries, or maybe deep spiritual experiences, they kind of say, you know what, it just happened, it just came up, or the book just wrote itself. See, these are superconscious mind experiences. The superconscious mind understands that everything is energy, and it really sees the underlying unity of things. It's our spirit, that all-knowing part of us. Your spirit is the one that's eternal and aligned with source energy. It's that pure unconditional love. Okay? And that's not conditioned in any way. So our spirit is who we truly are. So our intention is to create alignment between these 3 parts of our psyche, between the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Okay? It's really, so what's going on, we're having conflicts, is a battle of the mind. And that's what we need to overcome. It's that ego fighting for survival. It's really a war in the mind between the ego afraid of losing itself, fighting to keep its old identity, and the spirit seeking to transform, grow, explore itself, and expand into an identity closer to itself, pure love. So essentially what we want to do is to be fully aligned in mind, body, and spirit in order to be fully committed to our goals. If there's a disconnect, guess what? We want to start retraining our subconscious mind, identifying and removing limiting beliefs that are holding us back and replacing them with enabling beliefs that support us better. At the end of the day, I want you to know this, that we're all perfect, whole, creative, resourceful beings making the best choices with the information that we currently have available. But with self-awareness, we're going to be able to create an alignment that supports more resourceful choices and create more of what we want for ourselves now and in the future. You know, in conclusion, building your financial mastery takes deep inner work so that your behaviors align with what you want. So you want to be patient with yourself as you align yourself with your goals in mind, body, and spirit. That's why I've created and designed my signature program called Money Mastery. Traditional personal finance education tends to focus on facts and numbers, and that's all good, but it ignores the inner work, the mindset, the behavior and transformation needed to build lasting results. It's more than just creating a budget. It's creating a lifestyle. To build and keep wealth, it takes lifestyle changes. So if you're ready to invest in your financial education, this course is for you because it combines getting the full picture of personal finance. It helps you with creating a personalized financial action plan. We include group coaching there to really best support you. And I've curated and tailor-made this program especially for women who are ready to upgrade their mindset for wealth. This is an exclusive offer for high-achieving women that are committed to their transformation to get out of debt, save more, increase their income, and invest to build real wealth. This exceptional and unique experience is really going to support you in having that peace of mind that comes from having an action plan, a strategic plan for financial freedom. So if you're ready to live a life of financial success and prosperity in your terms, click the link below in the description box to enroll. Also, it's always great to have inspirational and motivational reminders to keep you moving forward towards your dreams and goals. So click on the link below to choose your favorite custom designed gift for yourself, family, and friends in the online merch store. Here's a mug that I have. It's called the Doodle Heart. I absolutely love it. I always like to drink my coffee and tea in it. Click on the link in the description box below to pick your favorite product. If you enjoyed this video and want to improve the quality of your life, click the subscribe button below to level up. Oceans of love. Till next time.